that going, keep that going, go, 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 go. So I guess this is the beginning of our labor and delivery. This morning, I woke up just to pee. I had like period-like cramps. When I stood up, I felt a big gush and I was like, okay, I think this is it. I called the hospital and they said, since I was negative for one of the tests, I could come in within like 6 hours or when my contractions are 2 to 3 minutes apart. So my contractions started like 10 minutes apart and then went to like 7, 9, and they've been like pretty consistently like 2 to 3 minutes apart since like 7:30. I don't know if I said my water broke at like 3:40 and now it is 10:30. So it's been 6 hours since the water broke, and also they've been like consistently 2 to 3 minutes apart. They're not bad contractions though, so that's why I'm just kind of like a little hesitant on like going there. And I called them again and they were like, if they're not bad, don't come in yet, wait a couple hours. But now it's been a couple hours, so, and it's also been 6 hours since the water broke. So, I feel like we should just go and get checked. I also feel like I'm like constantly leaking water, so yeah, we'll go in and see what they say. Okay, we're walking into the hospital. Yay. I can feel my water like pouring out. And I'm having another contraction right now.
James won't be able to do anything.
So we were in triage for like, what, like an hour, if that. And then I was 3 centimeters dilated, and since that and my water broke, they brought us up to a room. We've been in the room for like an hour, maybe a little longer. When I'm sitting down, I like don't really have contractions, and they're like 5 to 7 minutes apart, but if I stand up, they're like super close and consistent. So I'm trying to just like keep standing. I feel like my face like so chubby. It's like so swollen right now, I feel like. But they let me like order some food, so I just got a sandwich and sweet potato. They put like an IV in me, but I wanted to be able to like walk around, so I'm not connected to anything.
Oh, there you go.
Very comfy.
Oh yeah.
When I'm having a contraction, first it like hurts to sit, so I haven't sat like at all. Then when I have a contraction, the only thing it's like helping is like keeping my foot up and just like bending like that. And my comb, I wouldn't comb me.
Yeah, you're doing that easily.
I want to know how much they've like dilated it all more.
It's hard to tell what your knees are doing with this dress.
I know. I have 2 on. I have one in the front and then the back one.
Covering the cheeks up.
Yeah. Got some pizza, cranberry cocktail. Oh, another contraction. I'm trying to like smile through them. It like helps to like relax my face. I'm like, makes me feel like something good's happening when I'm smiling and not like scrunching my face like I'm in pain. I'm like about 7 centimeters dilated, and I'm getting the epidural because I'm so tired and like really dizzy and nauseous. And the only thing that's like bringing me relief is just standing up. So I just feel like I'm not going to be able to stand up anymore. So we're filming the epidural. It should be here hopefully in like a half hour or so. So until then, I'm just like trying to sit. I have like an IV and stuff in right now, but hopefully Cooper will be here soon.
So we're getting ready, but we're going to push once you're feeling that a little bit more consistently. Because you have an epidural, technically you have up to 3 hours to push. We don't want to push for 3 hours if necessary, if possible, right? So you'd rather stay like this, you don't want to turn a little bit more. Yeah, okay. So, focusing, squatting down low. All the way down, all the way down. Good, good. Keep that going, 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 keep that going. Go, 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 go. Let it out when you have to. Come back to it. Tap, tap, tap. A little more. Good job, good job. Come on. Tap, 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 tap. Right there, go right there and go, 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 go. Good job.
Hi, Cooper. Hi. You waving? No, bless you. Billy boy just got home. He has no idea what he's about to meet. What is this, Billy? That's your brother. Oh. Cooper, what did you think? So let me just kind of talk about what happened with his delivery. So as you guys saw, I waited until I was 7 centimeters to get the epidural. I wanted to either go as long as possible without the epidural, like I did, or just not get the epidural altogether. And I did not take the decision very lightly. And I know this is like such a weird topic for some people. Some people get offended, some people get confused or angry, because I had this all happen on Instagram when I talked about it. But it was just a personal decision. You can do all the research on it. There's so much info out there. And I just know that not getting all of these interventions, first of all, if you get one intervention, it usually leads to the next intervention, to the next one, and we'll end up in a C-section. And that was just something I wanted to avoid. And I also knew that not having all these interventions would help me to progress faster. And I was dilating very quickly. But basically what ended up happening was I was 7 centimeters dilated, and I was exhausted because the only way I was comfortable was just standing. So literally for 21 hours straight, I was just standing, walking around. I'm gonna make a short on all of the techniques that helped to ease the pain of contractions, because I think I have like probably like 8 tips for you guys, and they were really, really helpful. So look out for that soon. But once I hit 7 centimeters, I was talking to the midwife. We got really blessed with an amazing midwife, and she was like not pushing anything on me. And I called her in and I was like, I don't know if I should do an epidural. I'm like, something inside of me is just telling me to get it. And she was like, okay, like let's talk about it. Let's talk about the benefits and all that stuff. So we went through it for a while, and I finally was just like, you know what, let's just get the epidural. So it probably was like 40 minutes after that I ended up getting an epidural. So I'm not sure what I was dilated at that point, but it was like an hour after the epidural, I was 10 centimeters and ready to push. So part of me is like, if I didn't get the epidural, like would things have like went better, or am I glad that I got it? I honestly don't really know. But basically what happened when it came time to push was, this is what they said. They said that this was you know, the opening. And here's his head, and he literally was like wiggling, like they could see his head wiggling. And maybe this is TMI, but his hair was literally sticking out. They're like, his hair is there and he's trying to get out, but like he just could not fit through. So it was like probably maybe like 3 hours into pushing at this point, and they were like, okay, I think that we should give you like the lowest amount of Pitocin to see if we can get the contractions a little bit closer together. And Pitocin is something I did not want to do because I know Pitocin can mess with the baby's heart rate, and then they will be like, oh no, we need an emergency C-section, and that's just something I wanted to avoid. But I was just like, okay, like again, whatever we have to do, let's just do it. So they gave me a super low dosage, like the absolute lowest you can do. And it was the same with the epidural. They gave me a dose of it, but then they also gave me like a button to keep hitting to increase the dosage and to keep it going. And I hit the button once in the beginning. And I will say with the epidural, I was still feeling the contractions, which is what I wanted. I didn't want to be like completely numb, but I probably I could have like kept hitting the button so that I didn't feel anything. Because by the time I was like pushing like the last hour, I could literally feel everything. So she said it basically just wore off by the time he was coming out. So anyway, I was pushing. We were trying all different positions. I was doing like squatting, I was doing on my hands and knees. Instead of having like traditionally, like these are how your 2 legs, normally they make you put your legs out like this, but actually if you put your knees in and feet out, it helps to open things up wider. And this was like all stuff that I had researched, and luckily the midwife that I had was just amazing and like was doing all this stuff for me, but it just wasn't happening. So they were like, you know, you've been pushing at this point for, I think it was a little bit over 4 hours, and like we really need to like figure this out. Like he was fine, his heart rate was good, but we needed to get things moving. So she was like, let's try a vacuum assisted birth. And so I was just like, all right. So they put the little suction cup on his head, they pulled with the contraction, and the first time they pulled, it popped off and made the scariest sound. Literally everyone in the room screamed. And at this point I was so exhausted. Like I did not even like feel like I knew what was going on. I was just like, oh, like I don't know what's happening. Anyway, so they were like, okay, we're going to now try an episiotomy with it, which we had discussed also when they had discussed the vacuum. And I was just like, again, fine, do whatever we need to do. So they did the episiotomy, then put the suction back on his head. And basically they were giving me 3 tries with the suction. And if that didn't work, we were gonna have to talk about maybe a C-section. So I was like, this little boy needs to come out so that we don't have to go through C-section. Because I was like, it was just a lot. So they put it on his head. We pushed, his head came out, and then with another push, his whole body came out. And honestly, like it was not bad. The pain, I think I was just so excited, and everyone says that, like you're just so excited, like you don't even feel anything. And it definitely wasn't the epidural because I could feel all the contractions and everything leading up to it. So yeah, but it was just so beautiful. They put him on my chest. I'm not a crier, but when they put him on me, I started crying, and then he peed on me. And then they handed him to Connor, and then he pooped on Connor. But it was just so sweet, and we are so in love with him and so obsessed with him. Here's Cooper, he's falling asleep. And he's got so much hair, look at that. He's so precious, and he's so cute. Look at this little baby. Look at those little feeties. But we just wanted to thank you guys for all of the love and well wishes with the baby. We are so happy and feel so blessed and so thankful for him. But we will chat with you guys in the next video. Bye. Oh, also, by the way, the next video will be the nursery reveal, finally.